Hey guys, once again thank you for your support for the last videos. Okay guys, if you like my videos, please put a thumbs up button and subscribe my channel so that it can motivate me for doing more videos for you guys. Okay, let's discuss today topic: anesthetic effects on thermoregulation, how it affects in different modes of anesthesia, in general anesthesia, how thermoregulation is affected, and in spinal and combined spinal epidural, how the temperature regulation is happening inside the body. Okay, for that we have to first know what is core body temperature. So core body temperature is nothing but the temperature of the deeper tissues of the body, which is nothing but your internal organ temperature, which is maintained in the internal organ level, that is your heart, lung, kidney, or in the abdominal closed cavity, the abdominal cavity, pelvic cavity. This all temperature which is maintained is the core body temperature. Why it is important is because it is relatively maintained constant, and in response to the changes it is actually variability is also very minimal compared to that of your surface skin temperature. So core body temperature is, that's why it is more important. Okay, it is actually monitored in which are the sites your most or internal organs I told. So rectum, esophagus, or your tympanic membrane, pulmonary artery. These are the sites where the core body temperature is actually maintained. Okay, so now next we are coming to that, actually to the definition. Core body temperature, how much is the core body temperature? Just consider this as an individual. Okay, this is the body and of the individual. The core body is concentrated mostly in the central compartment, that is your trunk and head. These are the two major areas where the core body temperature is concentrated. Okay, so this is approximately, core body temperature is approximately 37 degree, whereas in the peripheries the temperature is approximately, in the peripheral compartment the temperature is approximately 2 to 4 degree less than the core body temperature, that is approximately 31 to 33 degree. This is the normal core body temperature. What happens if the patient is under general anesthesia, and how it responds, that everything will be seeing individually. Okay, so for knowing that changes in the different anesthesia, we first know the normal thermoregulatory mechanism and how it is regulated. Okay, so just consider this graph. Okay, this is a normal 37 degree. This is a temperature. I put it in the right side, and in the left side I just put it as a time, that fall in duration of the temperature. Okay, so this is 0 degree and this is 37 degree. So normal body temperature is maintained around this range, 37 degrees centigrade. Just consider this in 37 degrees centigrade. If the patient is exposed to the cold or warm, what will happen? If the patient is exposed to warm temperature or cold temperature, what will happen? There will be precapillary vasodilatation. Precapillary vasodilatation will be happening. So what we can observe, the patient will be having sweating in that time. Whereas if the patient is in hypothermia, if the patient goes, what will happen? There will be vasoconstriction will be there to reduce the blood flow to the peripheral compartment. Vasoconstriction, when you are exposed to the cold, what happens? Peripheral cutaneous vasoconstriction, your skin will be cold, clammy over the periphery, and the fingers, toes, everything will be calm. Then what another mechanism is, you will be shiver. So you will be shivering in the next adaptive mechanism. It will increase the metabolic rate and increase the heat production inside the body. These are the two mechanisms, which is when the heat is more, then will be sweating. When the heat is less, there will be shivering and vasoconstriction. Okay, so this normal core body temperature, I told, a normal body temperature 37 degrees centigrade. Above 1/10 of the degree, it is not just above 0.5, above 0.5 below. Within that degree only, the changes will, the normal thermoregulation will able to withstand above and below. When it crosses more than the 1/10 of the degree centigrade of the change, then it will cause sweating. Above means below it causes shiver, vasoconstriction, and shivering usually occurs mostly 1 degree centigrade, that is, just consider this is 36 degrees centigrade. Shivering usually occurs 1 degree centigrade below your normal core body temperature, because below that 1 degree centigrade only the shivering mechanism will continue to happen. This is the normal thermoregulatory mechanism to the increased heat, that is during heat climate, that warm exposure, or during the cold exposure. So now we are going to see how how the changes is going to happen in the general anesthesia patient. Suppose if the patient, if plan for general anesthesia, you have to know the three conditions, because the central thermoregulatory mechanism will go off when the patient is put on the general anesthesia. The same mechanism will be inhibited. So what happened is, actually, I told before, the core temperature is more concentrated on the which compartment? Your trunk and your head compartment. This is the majorly your 37 degrees centigrade is concentrated compared to the peripheries. What happened in general anesthesia is the heat will be initial first within, I just mentioned the graph so that it will be easy for you to understand. I mentioned the time in duration in x-axis, and y-axis I just mentioned the temperature fall. Okay, I just taken as a 0. This is your just meant 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours duration, and the temperature is 0. I just mentioned this is 36 degree and this is 37. I just maintained as a normal. So what will happen in the initial first hour of if general anesthesia, if you are given, then the central thermoregulatory mechanism has gone. So initially the patient will be maintaining at 37 degrees centigrade, followed by within 1 hour there will be rapid fall in temperature of about 0.5 to 1.5 degrees centigrade fall in rapid temperature within first 30 minutes. Okay, this phase, why it is occurring is because of the redistribution. This phase is known as redistribution phase. Why it is called redistribution? Because during this phase, heat from the central compartment is actually transferred to the periphery. Because in general anesthesia, the heat loss depending on the three temperature. What are the three major segments? What are the things? Your ambient OT temperature, how it is there, and your patient's exposed cavity incision site, if it is large, or exposed cavity is more, then the loss will be more. And another thing is your patient's body temperature, because the patient is adequately pre-warmed before or not during the anesthesia. These are all the things. So initial within first 30 minutes, there will be 0.5 to 1 degree centigrade fall will be there, and the rapid loss is due to redistribution phase. Why redistribution? Initially I told here 37 degree, and there will be 31 to 33 degree, that is 4 to 7 degree low. In GA, what will happen? The central compartment temperature will be around, it will reduce 36, 1 degree fall will be there, and peripheral compartment temperature increase to 33 to 35 degree. Is in the peripheral compartment compared to the central compartment in patient in general anesthesia. Compared to that, there will be, following which reduction, there will be linear slope, there will be linear phase. This linear reduction will be there in within next 2 to 4 hours. That this is phase 1, that is redistribution. Coming to the phase 2, this is linear slope. This low reduction in the temperature from that 35.5 36 to the baseline, okay, to the core body temperature approximately. Okay, so when the linear slope is because the metabolic heat production is also occurring in the body, but the metabolic heat loss is more compared to the production. So because of that, the linear slope of reduction in temperature occurs. Phase 3, I forgot to mention one thing. In general anesthesia, okay, the threshold for the different, I mentioned before, no, the normal 37 degrees centigrade and vasoconstriction, everything. So here the normal body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade. General anesthesia, the core body temperature will reduce, and vasoconstriction mechanism will occur only at 34.5 degrees centigrade. This phase where vasoconstriction mechanism, even the core body temperature is occur, the general anesthesia vasoconstriction response to cold occur at 34.5 degrees centigrade. So you know 1 degree below that will be the shivering mechanism. Normal shivering mechanism will be there. So shivering will occur at 33.5, approximately on 3.5 degrees centigrade, whereas the sweating mechanism is normally maintained within the same level. Okay, sweating mechanism response to heat is maintained within the same core body temperature, 110 degrees centigrade difference it will maintain, but the vasoconstrictive and shivering mechanism temperature reduction is 10 to 20% reduction in temperature is needed compared to the your baseline temperature. Okay, the shivering, the vasoconstriction, which is normally occurring at 36.5 like that, it is now in general anesthesia because of this central regulatory mechanisms is affected. It is fallen more to 34.5 degrees centigrade, and shivering is further followed by 1 degree centigrade, that is 33.5 degrees centigrade. Okay, this is the linear slope. Just consider this is approximately around 33.5 degree centigrade. Okay, this is the slope. The core body temperature has reached this phase. After that, the core body temperature is maintained. Why core body temperature is maintained? Because vasoconstriction, everything will occur, so that the peripheral heat loss is actually you have taken care. Peripheral heat loss is not occurring. Only why peripheral heat loss is not occurring? Because of the vasoconstriction, the heat whichever is formed is maintained within the central compartment. So that's why this phase is called phase 3, or also known as plateau phase. This is occurs actually after 3 to 5 hours after the intubation, after general anesthesia. Plateau phase, where the core body temperature is maintained. So metabolic heat production is more than the heat loss. So it is maintained in the normal baseline core body temperature level. It is maintained. Okay, there is no further loss is expected. Okay, these the changes which are occurring during the general anesthesia. Okay, so next we will be seeing what are the changes occurring during the regional anesthesia. Both I just mentioned regional, that is a spinal or regional anesthesia, either spinal alone or combined spinal plus epidural, CSE, combined spinal plus epidural. So here I want to mention one thing. There is with peripheral nerve blocks, there is no much difference. Peripheral nerve blocks, there is no much difference in the temperature regulation. Mostly it is maintained because only the particular nerve component you are blunting, remaining all things are maintained within normal limits. So remaining all nerves or conductions are maintained. So temperature fall is not much remarkable in peripheral nerve blocks. Okay, so whereas in regional combined spinal epidural, and another thing is actually the regional anesthesia, you know, you have given a spinal or something, the nerves below that will be blocked, so that there will be no afferent or efferent nerve conduction to carry the cold stimulus, because the patient will not be able to feel the cold stimulus down the part of anesthesia. You have given that level of T10, you are even below that level, the patient won't be able to feel the cold stimulus. Even though the temperature is less, that is also the patient is not feeling, and the sensor as actual is not getting that effector, afferent nerve is also not getting, so that the fall in temperature is similar to that of a general anesthesia. I just draw first initial general anesthesia. The initial fall is rapid, followed by the linear slope. Initial fall is rapid, followed by the linear slope, followed by plateau phase. Whereas in spinal anesthesia, what happens is the initial fall is actually, it's also rapid, but it is very less compared to that of general anesthesia, and then it is maintained in the slope, and then it is plateau, but the fall is not more compared to that of your regional anesthesia. Compared to that of general anesthesia, the regional anesthesia temperature fall is less, and more or less even though it is similar, the fall is very less. Okay, but when you put combined spinal epidural, combined general anesthesia plus regional anesthesia, then the fall will be very more, because the fall is very more when you combine both the general and spinal anesthesia. Okay, combined spinal epidural also most or less are same, with the temperature fall is similar to that, will be temperature fall is similar, and general anesthesia with the spinal anesthesia, the fall is furthermore exaggerated. Okay, so next these are the changes which are occurred. What are the consequences of the hypothermia? You have to know a little bit about consequence of why it is so important to know the hypothermia, because hypothermia will cause coagulopathy. How coagulopathy? Because it will decrease the clotting factor, enzyme activation, and also decrease the platelet aggregation, because it reduces the production of thromboxane A2, so aggregation, everything will be defective. And next is, it will also cause sympathetic activation, hypothermic sympathetic activation, so it causes tachycardia, hypertension, and myocardial ischemia can occur. Myocardial ischemia. And another thing is actually wound infections. Because why wound infection? Because hypothermia causes vasoconstriction, so reduced blood flow to the peripheral tissues, so the wound healing will be delayed, as well as there will be reduced mobility of these inflammatory cells to that area and reduced scar formation. Because of that, there will be contamination of the wound, and the wound infection may be delayed in these patients. Okay, and we know that hypothermia also potentiates some of the agents, that is neuromuscular blocking agents, drugs, and other inhalation agents, something. It will IV agents, if you used, it will prolong the action. So what will happen? There will be delayed reversal, delayed emergence, delayed reversal, superficial neuromuscular blockage, delayed reversal will be can also happen in these patients. Okay, these are the some of the consequences of hypothermia. But whenever the patient is on general anesthesia, the vasoconstrictive mechanism, the shivering mechanism will not be reflected that much. Whenever the patient come out of the anesthesia, the patient will experience this refluxes, everything, because the central thermoregular mechanism, everything has happened, is functioning now. So the patient will respond to hypothermia as a shivering mechanism in the immediate post-op period. So adequately, patient should be pre-warmed before the induction, and the temperature should be maintained during the intraoperative. Normothermia should be maintained during the intraoperative period, and post-operative period also we have to maintain the patient warm to avoid hypothermia induced effect and the consequence of hypothermia in the post-operative period. Okay, I think guys you like my video, I feel like. Okay, you just please subscribe my channel so that it will motivate me for doing more videos. And then if I make something wrong in the video, just you comment me, and if you want any topic for discussion, just suggest me the topic so that I will prepare for the topic and present. Okay guys, thank you guys. Let's see for another, we call it for another day. Okay guys, bye.